My Rebels are 3 and 8. But, you know, there's a difference, I suppose. Still to come on Studio B, I take that back. 7 and 4. 3 and 8 what Mississippi State finished up. See, and we beat them the last game. So now you have all the information you need to get through your day. Well, we all know stress can take years off our lives. Now we know it can even turn our hair gray overnight. Researchers now say they found emotional distress, like a divorce, losing a job, or taking care of the sick, could make a person's cells get older faster. The study also shows a link between psychological stress and age. So stress can make your hair turn prematurely gray. And then there's this, before we turn off the lights in Studio B. Imagine what it's like to be a fighter pilot in combat, flying over enemy soil, maneuvering a plane like you're under fire, while you actually are. Sounds pretty intense, right? Well, apparently it's nothing compared to the daily commute in London. A new study has found that the average commuter faces more stress than a fighter pilot or a police officer in a riot, for that matter. Researchers say the problem is train or bus commuters don't feel like they're in control, so their stress levels shoot up. Their brains switch off. Their tempers flare, a condition they've dubbed commuter amnesia. A possible solution here? Walk to work. But then you have to go in and out of all the tourists, and there's the construction, and there are the street vendors, and now they're lighting that darn tree over there in NBC land tonight. Beautiful, right? Can't wait to watch it on TV. It's hell in this neighborhood. Terrible. Right, Neil?
It is not.
It's so crowded and awful.
It's terrific. What are you talking about, Shep?
President Bush needs to put his money where his mouth is. That's what some lawmakers from both parties are saying. They're telling the president to use some of that political capital he claims he earned in the election to get Congress to pass the Intelligence Overhaul Bill. But Republican holdouts in the House showing no signs of budging. Meanwhile, the president filling another vacancy on his cabinet with a man he calls a great American what do you call it? Success story. Jim Engels at the White House. Hey, Jim. And then there's this, before we turn off the lights in Studio B. It's a sad day in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, just a half hour north of Philly. There doesn't appear to be any silver lining on the clouds there, and no one is quite sure whether the sun will indeed come out tomorrow. After 24 years of community service, the local branch of the Optimist Club is shutting down, citing a lack of interest. The club president says only a handful of people came to the meetings, and only 12 kids showed up for a bike parade this year. It could be a sign of the times. Optimism, apparently not in fashion anymore. At least the glass is only half empty. Oh well, I don't know. The Eagles, though. See the Eagles and the Giants over the weekend? Eli will improve. Eli will someday play Peyton in a Super Bowl. And what will the Eagles do? It's just a friendly rivalry, so you might as well just go ahead and say, you know, they won't do anything. Right? Right, Terry Keenan?
Shep, you got me on a subject I don't know much about, but right, you're always right, Shep.
On a sad day in Rebel Land, but, you know, opportunities abound. Great facilities down there. Come on, Butch Davis. And then there's this, before we turn off the lights in Studio B. America's trash is building up at quite a rate. Piles and piles of garbage chilling in the landfills. Not a great image for most of us. I mean, trash stinks, and there's the rats and all the nastiness around that, and the flies, and disgusting. Bad for the environment. But apparently it's great for the wallet. According to some economists, trash is an indicator of just how much money people are spending. If there's not much trash, well, we're not buying a lot of stuff. But the more things people throw out, the more things they have to buy to replace what they threw out. And cardboard boxes, they say, too, are good because those usually contain durable goods, which have to be replaced. So the more trash, the more people are spending. The more people are spending, the more investors will be buying. And the more people are buying, the more your 401k goes up. And Neil Cavuto could have told you that, though. It's all good stuff, Neil. Lots of trash.
Well, you know, there's big money in it. Some of the most successful companies are trash companies.
Right, and you hear, you know, trash. You know,
right.
that built some interesting businesses back in the day, too.
That's right, that's right.
Did you enjoy
My whole family started out that way.
Did you enjoy the Christmas tree lighting, Neil?
I did indeed, and I hope you sort of degroused yourself there. You were being very negative.
Crowds. The crowds.
I mean, it was all right. They were all there to see you.
Yeah,
I showed up, though.
Thank you.
Right. They thought I was Al Roker. I don't know.
In the world of sports, some breaking news for you. Fox News has confirmed that the University of Mississippi has fired its head football coach, David Cutcliffe. He was Peyton Manning's quarterback coach at Tennessee and Eli Manning's head coach at Ole Miss. Coach Cut led the Rebels to a share of the SEC West Championship and a Cotton Bowl victory with Eli under center last year. This year, the team went 4-7 with all kinds of quarterback controversies and the worst record in 8 years. Cutcliffe had 3 years remaining on his contract that pays a reported $1.2 million a year. Sources say a search for a replacement is underway. David Cutcliffe fired at Ole Miss. A news conference scheduled for 4:30 Eastern Time today. A good man. Maybe Urban Meyer, maybe Bobby Petrino, Butch Davis. You'd all love Oxford. Come on down. It's nice. Oh, this one hits home. College football's losing another coach. The University of Mississippi, Hotty Toddy, firing David Cutcliffe after the Rebels finished the season 4-7. That's the school's worst record, that is, in a decade. He was Eli's head coach and Peyton Manning's quarterback's coach at Tennessee. Cutcliffe had 3 years left on his Ole Miss contract, which was believed to be worth about $1.2 million a year. If your newscast of the evening, if the guy who does your newscast just left, if you were Tom Brokaw, Tom's gone now. Find a new newscast. We suggest the Fox Report tonight, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Come on, check it out. Hey, if your news anchor left yesterday and isn't coming back, maybe it's time to try a new newscast. There you go. The most watched evening news anywhere on cable, 4 years solid as a rock, and the one that used to be anchored by that guy who fills in for Tom Brokaw now. Come on. Here tonight. Right, Neil?
You are shameless.
Shameless, yeah.
You are shameless.
You betcha.
Nice plug.
Breaking news for all you hockey fans. Both of you, listen up. The NHL accepting an invitation from the Players Union to restart talks. The two sides set to sit down next week in Toronto. I know there are more than two. It was a joke. Stop the emails. This will be the first negotiation since the lockout began almost 3 months ago.
You're watching the Fox Report with Shepard Smith, and we are Fox News Channel.
And think about naming a star for someone on this holiday season. What? Well, there are companies that'll take your money for that service, but is it legit? It reads here, can you really name a star after someone? Give me a break. Well, you can wish upon it, but you can't name one of those things, and if you've done it already. Plus, a fur flap. For years, they were Christmas trees. Then they came the PC police, and they became holiday trees. Because you've always heard of the very popular Hanukkah tree, so wouldn't want to mistake them. You can't name stars in the sky after people, all right? That's a scam. Don't be stupid. The Games Do Count is the book, Brian Kilmeade's book, that is an Amazon.com bestseller and a New York Times bestseller, and there's a reason, because it's awesome, and it's an amazing Christmas gift, and it'll look great in the stocking, so dial it up. Buy it now. I'm getting, what, 10%?
At least 12.
At least 12%. Brian, good to see you.
Thank you.
Coming up from Studio B, a happy holidays greeting is more generic than Merry Christmas, but it applies to more holidays and to more people, you know. Still, the mayor of one city is backing off plans to switch the official greeting. Man, isn't there anything important to do in the world?
December nights. Shepard.
All right, thanks very much. Alicia Acuna, live there in Denver. The reason I'm a little distracted is because I've just learned from the computer here, trusty computer, that Urban Meyer, the head coach at Utah, who went 11-0, is now going to be heading to Florida. He's going to replace Ron Zook at Florida. That's according to a couple of newspapers down there and ESPN.com. It's all sewed up. So Urban Meyer to Florida. Leave some options for my Rebels. All right, come on. It may be a blue Christmas for the Yankees, but the world champion Boston Red Sox helping spread the holiday cheer in Beantown. How kind of them. Members of the World Championship team, I know who wrote this, on hand for the lighting of a 46-foot in Boston Commons. A fireworks celebration followed. Earlier this week, Sports Illustrated named the Red Sox Sportsman of the Year. Coming up from Studio B, it's the time of year when many of us are spending money, and it's also the time when con men and women start thinking of ways to get in on the action. We'll talk about some of the top scams this year, and the one that the producer of this program was just ruined by. Name a star after your wife. Golly gee. And then there's this, before we turn out the lights. In Studio B, a man in the central part of New York State is being charged with stealing a golf course, literally, piece by piece. The manager at the victimized country club says it all adds up now. He says things have been disappearing from his golf course for the past 3 years. One day a ball washer vanishes. The next day a tee marker's gone. The next day a bucket of golf balls, and so on, till he didn't have much left. According to a local news station in central New York, those items have now shown up just a short drive away. Police say a man was using the stolen goods to build his own 3-hole golf course on his own private property. That's not very nice. Grief. I'm Shepard Smith. That's it for Studio B. Hope you'll be back with us tonight for the Fox Report, America's Newscast Live. Neil Cavuto's on deck. Hey, Neil.
I cleared out the bakery aisle at an A&P and no one noticed until it was too late, Shep.